Wait, stop. That's the one. Welcome to ZEN TENN Speaks, a show where I make new friends and reconnect with old ones. A show where everyone's stories may inspire you to tell your own story. In this podcast, we encourage everyone to get rid of shame, guilt, fear, doubt, and judgments for themselves and for others, and replace those with love, empathy, compassion, understanding, kindness, and to do your best in everything that you do. In essence, to get rid of things that no longer serve your well-being. To be true to yourself and be honest with others. No need to be politically correct. That's out the window with 2020. Here, we tell the raw, uncensored story, your story, and tell the truth as you see it. Make sure you live your fulfilled life without permission or apologies. So, if you have a juicy, interesting, raw, unapologetic story and inspiring, please make sure to contact me at zentenn21@gmail.com. It is ZENTENN21@gmail.com. Or you can find me on most social media platforms. You know it. The IG, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, OnlyFans. I mean, not really. But yes, OnlyFans. Just kidding. Not. As you may guessed it, my name is Zen, and welcome to the show. Hey, Dr. Shoupash.
How's it going?
Good. You have taught me about microphone gains well, so I've been working on that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Today we have a guest. Ebraheem Shoupash is a music producer, accordionist, mixing and mastering engineer. He started to develop his listening skills when he was 10 years old. He started learning music theory in 2013 and got more focused on his music production around 2018. Ebraheem's goal is to open his own studio and have his own record label. Ebraheem also teaches folks music privately and Arabic lessons. You can find him and his work on YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud, and I will put on the link on the descriptions below. And if you like to hire his talent, you can find him on soundbetter.com or contact him directly, which I'll also put his contact info at the description below. Ebraheem Shoupash is a friend of mine, and I call him the Amazing Ebraheem. He is a genius, and I am blessed to have him make music for me. So please welcome the Amazing Ebraheem to the show. Welcome, Ebraheem.
Well, thank you so much for the introduction.
Yeah, definitely. So tell us a bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay, first of all, as you said, my name is Ebraheem Shoupash, and I am 22 years old. I live in Jordan. My origins are Circassian from the Caucasus Mountains in Russia, the northwestern side of Russia. And actually, I'm studying Arabic. I'm nearly at graduation level. Actually, I'm a senior student, so I'm studying, and also I work as a freelancer music producing, and yeah, that's it.
Awesome. So on your free time, like me, people ask me, what do I do on my free time? On my free time, I keep doing my art. Is that the same for you, or do you do other things on your free time when you're not doing music production or studying Arabic?
Well, my free time is spent on reading books and playing games, but like text games, which are like the text-based choice games that you make the choices for the character you're playing, and all are in the medieval era, and like the language is rich, so that's why I love playing these games and reading so many books about medieval and before medieval era, because newly I started to love history. I wasn't liking history, and that's why I started reading about history, especially music history, because it helps with my research about how music began, actually. And yeah, it's about reading always.
One of my favorite medieval game is Age of Empires. You heard of that?
Yeah, I heard of it actually, and there is a version of that game which is accessible that I can play because I am blind, so I can't play so many games. And I heard that there is a edition of that game which is accessible, but I didn't try it yet.
That's awesome. I like how we like the same things, and I like a lot of things that are not modern. Anything I would say pre-Victorian I like, because I like how the art of things are rich, and how when people did things, I feel like they took more time doing it in an art form way. As of today, it's just made for money and for consumption. I
Yeah,
feel.
sure.
All right, so how and when did you find out that you loved making music?
I was maybe 10 or 11 years old when I started finding that I like music. I had a small digital piano it's like a toy digital piano, and I was like really happy making, like improvising songs on that digital piano, and I was really enjoying how sound makes us happy or sad, or gives us so many feelings that we're not experiencing in our usual life. So I started thinking, how do they make these songs that we love? And it stayed sleeping for like 8 years, until I think 4 years ago I started learning how to put music, like how to put instruments together to make a song from scratch. And I started taking music production courses and mixing courses, so I can make my own music and let other listeners be happy listening to my music. So yeah.
That's awesome. And your music, which I'll put a link, when your friend Roslyn sent me your YouTube, I was blown away. And I'm like, who is this guy? Like, connect me to him. Your music is very amazing. And as you mentioned prior during conversation, how you make music from your heart to other people's heart. And I can definitely feel that. It's a great connection. So is making music easy?
First, when I started making music, I thought it was an easy job, and like, yeah, put this instrument and that one hand, it's done. But it's not. It needs like a really pure mind, no interruptions, and a cup of tea or coffee, so you can have much clearer vision of the music that you're making. And it only needs time. It needs so much effort from you.
Yeah. Well, I haven't tried it fully, but it seems daunting. And of course, I think if you're passionate about it, you'll feel more easy, because you'll be more into those challenges, like going on the field and taking all the energy from it and feeling good. So is your family and friends supportive of your music career?
Yeah, fortunately, yes. I'm really happy about that. Like everything I make, they start to like cheer for me and yeah, continue Ebraheem, do more, show us more what you can do. And in the beginning, I was like, yeah, they're doing it because they love me and they wanted to support me and so on. And after that, when I started seeing what others do that are studying music production or studying music theory, I saw what they're doing and I was like, no, I'm doing something different. Of course, it's obvious. And after that, I started telling my friends and family, okay, I know that you are supporting me, but please criticize what I'm doing so I can develop more and do more things much better. Yeah, fortunately, they are so much supportive and they're always giving me the energy to continue what I'm doing.
That is amazing. It is very important to have, especially if you have family who can be supportive. Then if you have friends who are supportive, that's icing on the cake, and that's usually makes someone more into doing their art and have more confidence. And as we all know, love loving of our art and confidence of our art starts from within. But as humans, we need others' support, and I'm very glad that you have that.
Sure, yeah. Without their support, actually, we'll feel doing this, but I don't see any support, so okay, I'll stop that. And you might do many things, like amazing things, but without any support, you'll stop doing them.
Right, definitely. And I like how you're saying that, and I do the similar things too. I ask for real criticism. I say, hey, like, what do you think of what I've done? Or even if they give me a feedback, and I will do what I want to do anyway. But I like how people will tell me the truth instead of saying, oh, you did great, just so I could hear it, so I could feel better. I actually do not like it. Comes from a good intention, but I don't like the, oh, because I like you, I'm gonna tell you you did great.
Yeah. That will that will destroy more things than building things up. So the real criticism, it's like you're building things up. It's not, oh yeah, it's really great. You're doing something so great, and in his inner voice, he's saying, no, it's bad. Okay, let's give him something good so he can enjoy. That's not good, actually. And yeah, real criticism is much better. Like, if I do something wrong, yeah, tell me I'm doing something wrong, because I know that I have to fix it. And yeah, this is the only thing. I know how to fix it, so I'll fix it. So tell me the truth.
Right, it helps. It promotes growth. Do you perform anywhere?
Actually, I perform at weddings, because I am Circassian. I play for Circassian weddings music. Like, we have a session within the wedding. I play the Circassian music for about, let's say, 1 to 2 hours continuous playing. Yeah, that's the only place. I wish I can perform in other places, but in Jordan, you don't imagine how life is.
What do you mean?
like like music, if you are saying I am a musician in Jordan here, they say it's not going to feed you bread. Actually, it's not something worth doing. Sit at home and then yeah, do it yourself. It's not something good you do. I was like, no guys, hey, you can do many things in terms of music, like teaching, playing, doing anything actually. And they say, no, it's not good. So imagine that mind, and imagine if you perform elsewhere.
Oh yeah, I totally understand that. When I was younger, I used to like to draw a lot. It's funny, I stopped drawing, but I don't think, well, just like any skills, I could totally improve in the future. But I never considered myself as a great drawing artist, and I wanted to go to be an artist, to go to college to study that. And my parents would tell me the same thing. It doesn't put bread on the table, which I understand generally, of course. People are looking out for you. But that
Yeah.
can be a dream killer, or can, if there's a word for, I like the word inspiring, but disparaging. Maybe that's the word. That can
Yeah,
disparage
sure. Yes.
someone to do what they want to do. And even if it doesn't bring bread on the table, you could say, hey, go pursue that because that's what you love, but make sure you do something else that brings the whole
Yeah.
bread on the table. And I think that's what people are
Yes.
missing to say. They don't say, because in New York City or anywhere, I would think it's good to have more than one thing, because that one thing is out of service or you cannot do it anymore. Then you need to have different sources of income or even different sources of happiness in life.
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. And music brings people together. So in a wedding, if they say, well, music is blah, then what do you do in a wedding or any celebration?
Yeah.
So right, so that kind of thinking is not, and that kind of thinking is everywhere, really, not only with music, but with, I've noticed a lot with art form. When I moved to New York, I've met a lot of painting artists or even drawing artists, and they often said, I'm a starving artist. They're proud to say that, and they wear as a badge of honor, tend to pity themselves and talk in a pessimistic way. And when I've heard that, I've refused to call myself a starving artist. I said, I will not starve. I will do this because it feeds my soul and I'm happy. And if someone
Yeah.
likes it, I often say, which people might call arrogance, but I don't care. I often say, my art is for me. And if you like it, then it's a blessing unto you. And if you do not like it, it's okay too.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. That's a really. I think it resembles my thinking also.
Right, because we are born with gifts, talents, or whatever you could call it, and sharing it to other people is a blessing. Because you could have kept your amazingness to yourself and enjoy it, and that's fine, and it keeps you whole. And if you share it with someone that is pleasant to the ear, or if you draw, do something for the eye, pleasant to the eye, or pleasant to the heart, or whatever it is, or if you cook, it's pleasant to your taste. So if you're an amazing cook and you don't share that, then you're not blessing others. So I think that's what people are missing. People feel like a lot of artists are little people who won't amount to anything. But without artists, life will be gray and boring and no sense of anything. And we are blessings to the world. I think a lot of people know that, but that's not where the monetary part of life is put on.
Yeah. Sure. Sure.
So how is life in Jordan in general, since you mentioned?
Because I didn't visit any country else, Jordan, I can say it's normal. Like you can manage yourself, but in terms of, let's say, money for living, you're not getting money as much as you pay. That's the only big problem in Jordan. Like, if they fix this thing, so many things will be resolved. Like, people get, in terms of how much do we pay, they get a lower salary for what they're paying. And there are so many taxes, we don't know where they go.
Right.
Yeah, but that's the only problem. Other than that, life is really good, actually. There are so many places that you can go to, but Jordanians always tend to say there's nothing that we can do in Jordan, but there are so many things. And it's about, like, enjoying. But unfortunately, all are busy, kept busy, actually. They are kept busy in their jobs, in their families, in their life, and they don't have the chance to see what Jordan is, unfortunately.
Right. And you just said something that inspires me, and I've often thought about it. as you mentioned, people say, oh, there's nothing to do in Jordan. I'm in New York City, the greatest city in the world and the greatest country in the world, and I say there's nothing to do in New York City. So it's all like perspective is inside whatever you go like, eh. But looking at something else, let's say if someone's looking at Dubai, they want to go to Dubai, or they want to go to Paris or London, while the people in London are tired of London.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So, a curiosity question, if you know an answer to that. So, and I know there is rich and poor anywhere, because I've noticed in some countries, I'm not educated about this, but from what I've noticed, if there is a normalcy of life, people can just live. Is there a gap between rich and poor? Are the rich getting paid more, or what makes someone rich? Is it a lineage kind of a thing, or if the poor because of a class or lineage kind of a thing, or are the poor because they're not managing their money, if everyone making equally, or what's that like? Do you know?
No, actually, the thing is there is a gap between rich and poor. I'm talking about Jordan. There is a gap, and that gap might have like a small majority of, like, it's not majority, a small group of people that are in between the poor and the rich. But if we have a percentage, we'll say that rich people are 20%. The people that are between rich and poor people, they are like maybe 5 to 10% is poor. It's not because they can't manage their money well. It's about life in Jordan is becoming much expensive, actually, for what you are getting. Things like the mind of the human is changing towards the unnecessary. He wants to buy the unnecessary and leave the necessary away. Mm-hmm. And that's a really big problem. Rich people have their money because of a chair that they are sitting on. Let's say a place that they are managing, and that's it. Poor people are like everywhere, but they can manage themselves well, but not well as well. Like, like, yeah, they can manage, but they can't.
Right, I see what you're saying. So, yeah, with the necessities of life, actually, this year, well, it started around late 2019. I can save money well. Like, truthfully, the only thing that's I'm very grateful for my life overall. But the only thing that I would love more, and that is missing in my life, is a career that pays well. And well means even 60K and above. And someone might say, well, 60K is pretty low and you're not shooting high. But because I have lived at the lowest $20,000 in New York City or even in Boston, and I lived a nice, normal, free life. I wasn't saving a lot, but I lived to my content. But as I get older, it is wise to save money, because 2020 have showed us that jobs will close, or you might get sick, and money will take care of you, probably will take care of you. So to have that in mind is very important, to save money and make more. But let's say if I live a healthy life all my life until I'm 95, then depending on inflation, making 20,000, then later on 25,000 a year, and 2 years ago 35,000, I was content. In the past, I bought excessive amount of things that I did not need. I was not living a simple life. And you're right, people are not buying the necessities. But because of 2020, I've had to reevaluate my life, and in 2 years, I've paid off about $35,000 of debt. That's not even included the interest. The interest, I'm guessing, over 10 years probably was $45,000 or more. Yeah. And I'm grateful that I've had the ability to pay it down, also living a nice, fulfilled life. I'm not deprived of anything in my life, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm not deprived of health, food, shelter, or even the things that I enjoy. And I think the things that I enjoy materialistic way is through my credit card, which is good and it's bad if you're not able to manage it well. And I think if I didn't have a credit card, I would live a much simpler life. I'm not regretting what happened. I'm just learning from it and moving forward. I'm going to save, and I'm totally paid my debt down. And actually at work yesterday, people were talking, we were working in a perfume store, and people were talking about, oh, I want this, I want that, da, da, da. And then at the end of the job, they all gave us a gift bag. And I give my gift bag to one of my colleagues, and I said, give this to your wife. And everyone's shocked because it's worth a lot of money. And I said, there is not anything that I want in my life anymore. As in, of course, as human, I want things, but I have everything that I ever wanted in my life materialistically.
Yeah.
So I don't need that, really. And I said the only thing I would want more that's material is money itself. And with that money itself, I can save more and invest more, and I can build my career more, and I can build my my company, and I can hire more people to do more things for me. And then with more money, with that investment, I can hire people and I can give people a livelihood, and they can build my company more. So that's the only thing not lacking. I don't want to say I'm lacking that, but I want more of that as a growth, because I'm very grateful. I think making $35,000 2 years ago is a lot, but for some people it's not. But my thing is gratitude. I'm grateful with everything. I saw a quote that says gratitude is not about the amount that you got. It's about being grateful for what you have, regardless of getting more or not. So
yeah, this is the correct sentence, actually, the correct meaning.
Right. So I'm very grateful for that. But of course, another friend also told me when I was telling her, oh, I'm fine making 20. She says, but let's say free speaking, either a spiritual way or religious way. She says, God wants us to be rich like him. No spiritual person is a poor person. And that really struck a chord with me. And I said, yeah, that's true. God owns all of the universe. He gave us all of these things on earth. Why should I be content being poor? That is not spiritual. That is not godlike. So that made me change my perspective about that. So what is your favorite genre of music that you like to listen to?
About genres of music, listening to, actually, I don't have a favorite genre, but if I want to choose one, I might choose maybe world music, or sometimes Latin and folk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't have a favorite one, because as a musician, I must listen to every single genre I can, even if I don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you familiar with the genre called reggaeton?
Yeah, but I don't like like that genre, actually, and I don't listen to so many songs from that genre, and I forgot how it defines itself from other genres, actually.
Oh, I did find it obnoxious.
Whoa!
I do not like reggaeton at all. But there's that one person who does reggaeton, and I like his music, and I think I like it because of him, the way he does it. But if anyone asks me which genre I dislike, is reggaeton. But I'm pretty open to mostly anything. But when I listen to Spotify or the radio, I tend to go for classical or world music, as you mentioned, or Latin. Yeah, that's what I would go for. But I listen to everything else in between. And if I listen to pop, it would be, of course, Britney Spears or Michael Jackson or Madonna, etc. But not reggaeton.
But also Latin music are influenced by Arabic music in certain in one time. At one time, Arabs were in Spain back in the medieval era.
Uh-huh.
They've made so many influences on like Spanish people, and the Italian also got some influence, and their music is kind of Arabic somehow. I know what Arab like the Oriental music is, so I can define if there is a touch of Orientalism there. About the world music, actually, I like it because it sounds amazing. Actually, you can like check out so many thinkings, like so many. I forgot the word. So many ideas and more than one mind of thinking about music, how they like deliver the idea. The instruments are one. Like there are so many instruments, wind instruments, brass instruments, strings, and percussion instruments. But how they deliver the idea between one place to another, specifically in the world genre, it's amazing. Actually, it's amazing.
Definitely, I agree. I love these. Do you have a favorite genre that you like to make?
Folk and world music more than folk. Folk because I'm a Circassian, I make folk music for sure. The Circassian music I make is like covers for the old Circassian songs, just to take care of our old music. Yeah, keep it live. And the world music is like so amazing. I don't feel like boring when I do this genre.
Right. Do you have any challenges in life?
Like people might say blindness is a challenge for me because I'm blind. I lost vision 2021, 6 years ago. And look, I forgot when I lost vision. That's why it's important, actually. And I lost vision in 2015. Yeah, the beginning of 2015. After that, I didn't have much difference when I was seeing, because although I was able to see back before 2015, but my vision was poor. After 2 meters long, I can't see nothing. And even if you're in front of me and you're looking at me, I can't see your details very well. So that's how poor my vision was. And after I lost it completely, I didn't have much difference other than I started to listen more. I started to keep my mouth shut more. And I started to think more, actually. Vision sometimes keeps...
Distraction?
Yeah, it distracts you a lot. Vision can distract you a lot without you thinking of it. Like, if you can close your eyes for about, let's say, half an hour when you're sitting between your friends, or with your friends, actually, you can listen more, feel their behavior, feel their way of speaking, way of speech. How do they pronounce words? What are they doing? You can imagine it more than you're looking at them. Vision distracts a lot. After I lost vision, people said, it's a challenge. I was like, no, actually. I felt that I'm getting better and better after I lost vision. Thanks God for that, actually. If I want to say that I have a challenge, I have one challenge, actually, which is I'm working on fixing it. It's about reading. If you want a book, you can just grab it, read it, and done. But for me, specifically Arabic books in the PDF form are not readable. And imagine if they are handwritten. Whoa!
Right.
No software can recognize what they are writing, because Arabic writing, it's not like English. English, even if you handwrite it, it's readable by any software. It can manage itself and recognize the letters, but Arabic, no. So that's the only challenge that I face. I can't read my favorite books because no one recorded them. That's the only challenge. It's a small challenge, actually. It's not big. Yeah, that's it.
I totally feel you on that. It's a very inspiring story in how people can implement your story into their daily lives, and I think that brings us back to gratitude and being in the present, getting something, being grateful for it. And of course, doesn't not mean you don't want more, but if you dealt a hand, you make that hand work. So that's what you're being doing. You make whatever you have work instead of sulking and complaining about it and not living your best life. And that's very inspiring.
Well, actually, when I lost my vision, I sat with myself for like 2 months. Sure, I was playing music back then, and when I lost my vision, I gave my accordion. Someone can fix it for me, and it stayed with him for like 2 months. Back then, I didn't know how to use my phone with a screen reader, and I didn't know how to use my TV. So I sat alone with myself, and I started thinking, okay, I've lost my vision. That's a sign that I need to know what it means. Actually, it means something good for me. I don't know what it is, but it's something good from God. That's why I mustn't stop here. Yeah, I lost my vision. What then? Like, close your hand and tie it on your back, and stop using it. You can manage yourself.
Right.
So what does it mean if you lost your vision or your hearing or your maybe smelling, the smell thing, and or your taste? It's not something big. Actually, you can manage. The brain can compensate and deal with the loss. And that's it. Stop complaining and continue your life. Something usual.
Right. I was gonna ask you, how do you turn your challenges into assets, and you basically answered that question already, and that's very inspiring. And which was gonna be followed by, did you ever wish anything was different? But you already answered that question without me asking. You stating that basically you thank God and then you've excel in certain ways that you probably wouldn't before, and so that's great. What are the greatest things in your life currently?
The greatest things. Okay, there is like so many things that have changed. The thing that I am grateful for, and it's the greatest, is that I stopped thinking of changing my major from studying Arabic to another one. I wasn't thinking that studying Arabic literature and Arabic language will give me something. And to be truthful with you, I wasn't liking studying Arabic when I entered university in 2017. Every single semester I was like, okay, I'm going to change. I'm going to go studying English literature, maybe Spanish literature, anything else other than Arabic. Go to change it. I was like, let's stay for another semester and see what happens. And fortunately, I stayed, and I started seeing things using the Arabic language itself, because I started going deeper and deeper into the Arabic language, and seeing more things better than before, even in music. Like my master's degree, if I can have it, I'm willing to take it, but I don't know if I can have it. So never mind. My master's degree is about why the Arabic literature student must study a bit of music so he can criticize poetry and poems. Mm-hmm. So it's about mixing Arabic with music, and no one really talked about this topic or give it a try. So I'm really happy that I can do something for the Arabic language and for other people, that they can stand on my back and go jump.
Are there a lot of Circassians in Jordan? What's the relation with Jordan and Circassian?
Yeah, Circassian, yeah. We don't reach 200,000, and Jordan's population is 11 million.
And why are there Circassians in Jordan? What's the history?
Okay. Back in 1763, Russia started a war with the Circassian tribes, and because they wanted the region that they are in, and the Circassians are living there, and they started war between Russia and Circassians, and like so many are killed. The war lasted for about 100 years. After that, the Ottoman army took the left Circassians to their side, and they migrated all Circassians, not all Circassians, but a lot of them, to Jordan, Syria, and Palestine, Iraq, Lebanon, and Turkey. Whoever dies on the way, well, let him die. And who can't die, or like he is suffering, they kill him, and they throw so many into the sea. Yeah, and that's why they're living in Jordan. Circassians are in Jordan from 1864 and 1865. Yeah, the first tribe that they came to Jordan is in 1865.
How many languages do you speak because of that?
I speak Arabic, English, and Circassian not much, and I'll tell you why. Because a little bit of Hebrew language. I learned some Hebrew because I went to Palestine so many, like it's not so many times, but like 6 or 7 times, and I wanted to learn or to know what they're speaking. And why I don't speak Circassian so much? Because there was a gap between my grandfathers and my parents. They didn't teach them how to speak, and it was a secret language between them. And my parents aren't speaking anymore, and they don't understand Circassian. So I said, okay, I don't have the language. I don't know what are the traditions, what are the Circassian spirits, or how do they think. I don't know what's the music like. So I must, and I have to know and learn Circassian. And I learned, and I took 2 courses actually, but I stopped because of university. That's the baddest, the most hardest thing.
That's very interesting. I don't know the history of it all, but I love world history, and eventually I would love to learn all the countries' history, especially the Middle East history, pre-World War I and World War II and post.
Yeah.
Because I know a little bit about how those areas were divided or conquered because of Russia and Europe and United States, etc. Very interesting. So,
Well, about Circassian, if you want to know something, and it's not about Circassian There is a book called Documented Evidence About Circassian War. Like if you write only documented evidence about Circassian, you'll find the book. It gives us so many documents and gives us so many true stories about what really happened. And yeah, it's in English.
Oh, good to know. I will Google it and sounds good. So going back to music, so you have been working on music for me, and I'm very grateful for that. How do you feel about making music for me?
Well, so many asked me about like your question, and the answer is I feel comfortable, and I'm so happy. That's the only, because I worked, and I think I've told you, I worked for someone to make music for children, and it was about teaching them how to speak properly, the alphabet, the Arabic like sentences, grammar, and so on and so on. And he wanted to rob me, actually. And I was like, what? What I'm doing, man? He said, I want a sample from you. And his sample was a full song. I was like, man, this is not a sample. Like, a sample for an album, it's like 15 seconds max, even for an album. And he was like, no, a full song. I said, full song. I said, okay, full song. Take it. And this is the last song that you're going to take. And he was going to make me produce for him, record for him, and do everything for him. And after that, he'll say goodbye and thank you so much. I was like, no, it's not going to happen. Yeah, that's why I'm really happy working with you, and I'm so comfortable. And I wish that my next job or my future job is as comfortable as what I'm working for you, actually. I hope.
Thank you very much. And we expressed that to each other so many times. I am so grateful and blessed that you decided to put my vision into reality. Everything, it's funny how I'll have a melody or something, and then you turn it's still the same, but you turn it differently, so much better. And yeah. and it's your passion, and it's your willingness to do it, and your passion and your love for it that makes it great. Because prior to meeting you through Rosalind, and I'm grateful meeting your friend Rosalind, that I've gone on Fiverr, I've gone on Facebook, and I've talked to so many people. I feel like a lot of people are so focused on the money and to make something that their production was not great, because they just want the money and want to move to the next thing. And I do respect and understand that. But when I work, even when I work for money, I put my passion into it. I do catering. I do not dislike catering, and I do not love it either, as in a passion, but I respect the job and I respect what I do. So anything I do it perfectly. And I think if people implement that in anything they do in their life, this is why I think if people do things that are inspiring and things that they love, they will excel at it. But if you do something that you just don't care for, then it will show into your work. And you care for it, and it shows into it. And not only you doing, let's say if you're doing something for yourself, you're gonna do it great, but you're doing it for someone else and you do it great as well, and that's amazing. So I thank you.
There is in Arabic we call it hadith. It's a quote from Muhammad the Messenger, peace be upon him. He said, if someone wants to make something, he must make it to perfection. So I'm putting that quote in front of my eyes because it's from my religion actually, and that's why I believe in it. And I believe that if you are believing in something, you'll get what you're believing in. And about what you are saying, they do it for money. Actually, when I play for weddings, for sure I get paid, and every single time they ask me about how much I'll get, and I tell him my price. Like they say, man, it's like it's not that expensive. Why you're getting this much, and your playing is amazing, and you deserve more than that? I say because I play for passion. I love what I'm doing. I enjoy what I'm doing. Why mixing enjoying my joy with money? It's not going to be beautiful. So if you want to pay me for my time only. I don't want being paid for music because music is life, and I play for my joy. I really enjoy what I'm doing, so that's why.
Right. I don't know if we talked about this, and you also have blessed me with the amount of the payment that we talked about in the beginning. And let's say if I had a lot of money, I think I would totally pay you more than what you're asking, because you're doing it for the pleasure, and that's from your heart, and the money is for your time, etc. But all these things have a worth because it's a gift that, yeah, everyone else can make music, but yours is unique to you, and people will pay you for Ebraheem. Like when and as I mentioned prior to meeting you, I wanted to work with other people, and what they were giving me, I don't know if it was because they weren't making any efforts or if it was because of their talents. They weren't what I was looking for, really. And some people, I even wanted to settle for it. And when I asked for samples, and again, I'm blessed by the way you do things for me, because when I was asking for samples from other people, I think I asked for a 30-second because a 15 was too short to kind of get a sense of it, because I was pretty new at that as well. And they would give me only a 15, which I was like, okay, that's the industry, that's fine. But then it was really crappy, like really bad. And then they say, hire me now. And then I said, well, I'm not content with the sample you give me. So I think they probably felt cheated because they gave me a sample and I rejected it. And I respect how they feel. When I asked you of something, you are so friendly, so eager, and so amiable. And your energy, and of course I never met you in person, but even through text, I believe in energy, and I believe electronic can transfer energy, and I could feel your energy. And I think you gave me a 30-second or more. In the first song that I had, and you transform it into an amazing thing. And I was just like, okay, this is the guy. Like, without a doubt, without even thinking about it. But let's say even if I wanted to, let's say even if I was a cheater and I wanted to cheat you, what I've discovered in life is, and not just for me, and maybe you thought of the same thing, maybe not. I've been cheated through things before, and the way I see it is, my heart is so big, so deep like the ocean, and so vast. No one can cheat me from it, and no one can take anything from my spirit. And what I give, if someone want to cheat me, you know what? Who they cheat? They cheat themselves from not getting more. But if they appreciate what I give them, it's a blessing unto them, because then we can still have a connection. But if they want to cheat me, they cheat themselves from having that connection. So that guy is cheating himself, because if you look at his life, that's his prerogative. He is not going to have any more amazing Ebraheem. That's what I think.
That's so good. That's so amazing. I don't know what to say, actually.
It's the truth, though. I mean, have you thought about that? That's why I thought about when it comes to my art. I used to say people cheat me. I say people cheat themselves now, because I feel like that about my art. And in the Western world, I don't know about in Jordan, but in the Western world, people call that arrogance, and that's their prerogative. But I call it confidence, and I call it knowing who I am and knowing my spirit. And part of the podcast, one of the reasons I have the podcast is to inspire people through stories, and to tell people, do not be ashamed of who you are, and do not let others shame you, and do not be in guilt, and do not judge yourself. So if I know I'm great at what I do, and the funny thing is, I don't know if it's a Western thing or a world thing, just because I say I'm great, it does not mean you are not great. And I think that's what people are confused about.
Yeah, yes.
I am great because I know myself best. Like, I know Ebraheem based on our interaction, but you know Ebraheem more than I know Ebraheem.
Yeah.
So therefore, if I say I'm great, you are also great, because we're all great uniquely. And when we get together to do something, we do great music. I love the stuff that we do because I bring something to you and I say, hey, let's say if I bring flour to you, and then you have the water, and then you create dough, and then someone else have the spices and they create something else, and then we have pastry. And that's what people are missing. They're thinking, oh, water is the greatest thing. Okay, it is by itself, but water cannot create bread by itself without the flour and the oven and the heat and the energy to put into the molding. And so it's all wonderful in general. So one last question I have is, what is your process of making music? What goes through your mind?
Well, first of all, it depends on the client's wishes. First of all, I put it in front of me. What's his needs? What's his vision of the project? And after that, I start reading if it's a song, I start reading the lyrics, see what's he thinking, what's the meaning of this word in this context. If it gives a sad meaning, okay, the music must be sad in this part. And I start putting the general idea or the general vision of the song. If he sends me a melody, or like he sang it or hummed it for me, I'll stick with his melody for like reading the lyrics itself. If I find that I can modify some things here and there, I'll do it for sure, because if he is not a musician, I can fix where he like made some things that he doesn't know, that he made them by mistake. Like he made a mistake here, I can fix it for him without telling him it's a mistake. But he'll get happier when he listen to his song, how it transformed. And after that, if he have sent me the lyrics without singing them, of course I have to write a melody for the lyrics. And after the melody, I start putting drum groove, bass line, and after that I start arranging instruments. What plays here, what plays there. I want this instrument to play counter melody with the lead vocalist, let's say, or I want in the chorus something to give the energy to the track and do this thing, like a typical arrangement. Like when you're listening to a song, there is a certain time, or like certain, let's say 5 or 10 seconds of that song that never leaves your mind. It's like you're humming it, like that part was really amazing. You forget the song, but not that part.
Right.
And yeah, that part is like the touch of heart. I felt that I have to put this here to give my energy through this part. Yeah, I do this thing actually. And after that, I start mixing it and then send it to who's going to sing it. And after he sings it, I mix his voice and think of the the things that need to be fixed. And after that, mastering, and yeah, it's done.
That's a great art form, and that sounds a lot of process, a lot of work.
Yeah,
But
actually, yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I often say, when you have passion in your work, then work is fun. So you must have
Sure.
fun doing it, and it shows
Yeah,
into your
sure.
work. What's next for you? Do you have any next project you want to do in your life beside music, or you just in university, or do you have any like big goals, or you just doing those things you're doing now?
Well, before telling you about my next project or what I'm going to do, actually, you said something about having fun. Well, if I feel myself not ready or I'm not fully into what I'm doing and I'm not thinking purely or I don't have a pure mind to think, I don't work. Like it might be for a week. I don't work because I know that it will turn into a bad project or
Yeah.
bad result. So that's why I stop working until I get much better thinking and I have pure mind to work with.
Very smart.
Um,
That's great.
and about the projects, well, you said from the beginning I wanted to open my own studio and have my own record label, but for that I want to fulfill something regarding teaching and Arabic studies. I've told you about my master's degree, and after that I'm thinking of taking PhD also in Arabic literature. Maybe about or like around the same topic, criticism and music and Arabic literature. And after that, I want to teach in university. Like there are so many subjects that we take that are not valuable actually, and students are not fond of taking the this subject, but they want to take it because they must, and they if they don't take it, like there's no subject to be opened for them to take it in the future. And I wanted like I want to teach the subject that I'm planning. It's like in Arabic, you know, there's the poem. It's in Arabic. It's a rhythmic speech, or like let's say it's quotes, but it's a rhythmic one. You can feel the rhythm when you're speaking or like reciting the poem. There is a philosophy under that rhythm, and I want to teach that philosophy. No one speaks about it. No one give anything. I was like, guys, there is a thing to be taught here. What are you doing, guys? And yeah, during what I'm doing, let's say I'm in future right now and I'm teaching. During that, I think I'm going to be opening the studio, because without having music, I don't know how I'm going to continue living.
Yeah, I said the same thing too. I maybe 2012, I'm not sure, was hanging out with my friend, and then I spoke about suicide, And then he was very upset with me, but it's because I said I feel that if I was not autistic, of course, if I was not autistic, I would have a normal life. But since I'm autistic, I need to do art. And if I'm not able to do art because I enjoy it, and back then I thought I needed my art to make me money. I had a rough time making money, so I was like, I'm better off dead, really, if I have to go do something that I don't want to do and then put my art away, because art is my life. And so I guess because it was a topic of suicide, it was very touchy for him. So he was upset. But then because I had that conversation, which was really important, I said, oh, I can still do my art and do something else simultaneously that makes me money so I can do my art. And
that's it.
Yeah, and I'm very blessed and grateful. Like, I'm able to pay you to do something that you love already, and I love it too. I'm not making money from it, but I love it enough that I can do another job that I'm fine with. I don't hate it. I'm fine doing it, and I'm very blessed and grateful to have that job in my life, to able to pay someone else to work with me. So I found a solution through having that conversation. Although the conversation was basically dead in the water, it was just like me. Sometimes it's good to speak outside of yourself so you can hear yourself and have that conversation. Or sometimes, like you say, close your eyes and think, or meditation. Because I meditate in the morning. I need to go back doing that at night as well. When I close my eyes and have no distraction, I have more answers to things. So that's really... Yeah, so that was like a little story about that.
Yeah, do you remember when I told you about the challenge? Like, I can't read the books that I want to.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I want to make after I open the studio, I want to have a section or part of the building. Actually, I'm planning of making it a really huge building. One of the sections is like people who are passionate about reading Arabic correctly, so they can record audiobooks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, for whom can't read books, same have experienced. And I don't want them to experience what I've experienced, so that's why I'm planning to do that thing, and giving them some privacy because having someone to read for you, you feel something not right. Actually, you're not comfortable. Like, okay, he's reading for me. I don't want to bother him, telling him, okay, can you repeat this, repeat that? Could you repeat the page again? It's not comfortable.
Right.
So if the book are within their hands, they can rewind, forward, do anything. The book is there.
Right. That is a beautiful vision. And I trust that it will happen. I've noticed that in my life, and you probably noticed that in your life. Definitely you have noticed that in your life, because the first thing you got was the, if I can say piano, the electronic. Yeah. And then look at where you are now. And same with me. I thought of singing, and people say, you can't sing. Singers don't sound like that. You sound bad. My personality is I don't listen to most what people say anyway. But the second thing is I said, who says there's a standard of singing? If God gives me a voice, even if singing sounds like, but I like it, and someone else may like it. Have they ever heard of rock and roll? Have they ever heard of... I don't know if you heard that song. I don't know how to... what's the genre? It's a rock and roll where people sing like this. And people love that. It makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
So who says there's a standard of singing? It makes me happy, and I have an accent and I sound bad. And so what? I like it, and if others like it, good for them.
Well, actually, if you know the genre, it's called yodeling. People only, it's only like that, like for 3 minutes.
Oh, that's nice. Are they saying any words, or just?
there are who sing sing words, and they are not. I was like, okay, well, it's beautiful actually. The way that they control their way of singing, the style is difficult actually. They're having so many difficulties controlling their breath, their vocal cords.
Right.
The way that they sing, it's difficult, but yeah, it's great. So many might see it like, well, what's he doing?
Agree. Well, thank you so much, Ebraheem Shoupash, for this conversation. And I've learned so much more about you, and I'm grateful for you. So quickly, how can someone who wants to reach out to you reach out to you?
Okay, well, email is pshinaction. It's pshinaction @gmail.com. That's the direct email that they can contact me through it. And the YouTube channel, Ebraheem Shoupash, my name. And also they can find me on Sound Better at pshinaction also.
Great. Again, thank you, and it's a pleasure working with you. And I'm glad that we create great art together. I think so, and I bet you think so too, because you're creating it. So, yeah, thank you for being on the show, and I'll see you around next time.
Well, thank you so much for having me in this great session.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.